Alright, so I'm gonna make a video. This is probably gonna be pretty long, but I'm gonna show off some setups that Yolk Soup was asking about, as well as pretty much just going over any route that I use. Frankly, because most of my stuff usually routes into safe jabs, which anything that you can safe jab, you can also squeeze in a 5U. So I'm just gonna do this all like in one big take, go back, and then like cut out the filler in between. So maybe you learn something from watching this, maybe you don't, who knows. So, anyways. The setup Yolk Soup wanted to see was some flame carpet shenanigans. So before I even show the setup, I'll just briefly explain how to set up flame carpet, the reversal safe one. You want to be either plus 23, plus 22, or plus 21, I believe, when the carpet actually goes off. So I'll show you real quick the frame advantage. So here we're at plus 22, and if we're to do carpet here, we're plus 19 on block. This is the magic number. Plus 18 or plus 19 both work. If after the whiff you're plus 23, you use guard delay to make it plus 22. If it's plus 22, you're good. And if you're plus 21, you're also good. There's an extra frame of leniency to be reversal safe here. So just in case anybody who's watching this is not aware, this is safe against U reversals. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, she does that, she realistically just like dies. She eats shit, right? So, getting the situation is very valuable, and Percival has a lot of ways to get the situation. The funny thing that I was showing Yolk Soup involves, if they respect it, you can go for some Raging Strike shenanigans, so... Yeah, so if you hit them with that Raging Strike and they have 1 BP, they pretty much just die. I think 17k health characters live that sequence just barely, but if you're in the corner, you've probably already gotten hit by at least, you know, something by that point. Like, literally, like that would be enough to where that would 2-touch even 17k. So, I mean, you can't only go for that, obviously. I mean, people can spot dodges and stuff. But since it's plus 19 on block, I think there's only, what, like, 8 or 9 frame gap or something. I think Raging Strike is like 28 frame startup or whatever. Yeah, so it's not like a huge gap, and there's a lot of mental stack going on when they see the flame carpet. So, you'll definitely hit somebody with it at some point. It's good to have, especially in like a best of 3 scenario. The other thing about the combo too is that you do have to use guard delay, so in order to get that 2-2 to link, you have to hold the guard button during 2-2-8 or the 2H. Sorry, you can see my inputs on the side. So yeah, there's a lot of combos that I'm going to be showing off that require guard delay. I'll try to note which ones do and don't, but you can see my inputs, so hopefully you can figure it out, or I guess just like send a message and ask like, hey, what part are you holding guard for? So yeah, that's the funny flame carpet setup. Now I'm just gonna really just show off a bunch of ways to actually get to the flame carpet, and then safe jabs and whatnot. So the flame carpet setup that I showed a second ago, you end with 3 stocks, so it's pretty good on resources, right? But you don't even need 2 to start it. Like the old one was you need 2 stocks and then you end up with 3 afterwards. You actually don't even need the full 2. You just need your cooldowns available. So, quick note in editing, I meant that you need 1 stock, not 2. You still need at least 1. So that is another setup. In order to get the in order to get that to link, you also have to use guard delay. So both routes need it, but yeah, you really, if you want the meaty flame carpet, you don't really need like any resources at all. You need a single stock, and then assuming you're starting with a close light starter, I have what, 10 meter? Like, if you're in the corner, I mean, walking builds hella meter, existing builds meter in this game, basically. So, really, as long as you have the one stock and cooldowns, you can pretty much just let it rip. If you don't want to use guard delay for whatever reason, like you're not comfortable doing it, or you autopilot your routes too much, you can also do this. That does work. It's just kind of objectively worse than going for the 2H guard cancel route because you end up with 2 less stocks. But, I mean, you don't have to hit confirm it, I guess, like, because the beginning of this combo, like, that is a pretty autopilot BNB for him, so if you're, like, at that point in the combo and you're like, oh, actually, I want Flame Carpet, you could still decide to do Flame Carpet. It's just worse than going for the 2H 2-2M1. So, that one does exist, too. It's also worth mentioning the Classic. So, if you back throw them and then charge, you're at plus 21. And plus 21 is also one of the 3 magic numbers. So, plus 18 is the minimum that still works. If you end up where you're like plus 20 and then plus 17 on block, that doesn't work, but this does work. So, I would definitely define Percival as a back throw robbery character, because you'll absolutely get situations like this. Right, like that's a thing that you could absolutely do to somebody at a real game. So definitely definitely worth labbing that one out. So you can also set up the carpet from mid-screen on auto combo at certain spacings. So you could do something like that. That's plus 18, so, you know, right on the money. Depending on the Percival player you are, you might also prefer to have your flame carpets be spaced like this rather than being up close. I'd say there's merits to both, but yeah, at this distance, I'm gonna guess probably outside of 2M range right here, but within 2U. Oh, actually, no, it's still outside 2U, but yeah, you're prime poking distance here. I forgot to mention one other setup. And this is actually maybe like one of the most important ones, which is if they disrespect the flame carpet, you can loop the situation pretty easily. So yeah, if they choose to get hit by it, you put them right back in it. So I mean, granted, it costs like a bravery point, but still, if they choose to fuck around and find out, you will put them right back where they started. And then the final flame carpet that I'll show off is actually just off the throw in the corner. So if you use guard delay with close medium, you can get it, or you could do close light twice. I mistimed it there. I prefer to do the close medium version. I find it more consistent than doing close L twice. You see I messed it up the first time, but both work. So yeah, if you want to do that, that is yeah, pretty good stuff. Alright, so that is it for showing off practical setups to go into flame carpet. There are absolutely more that exist. There's a video on YouTube called like the art of 2-6 Okizeme for Percival that has some more setups, and you know, they exist, trust me. I just don't want to make the whole video about it. But before I move on to Safejabs, I do want to talk about the situation after you actually put them in the plus 19 flame carpet. Mainly just because you're so advantaged on block that you don't have a you don't have an auto-timed frame trap. You have to manually delay if you want to hit them or command grab them, which does take a little bit of practice. I actually think that it would be a good idea to go into training mode and learn this timing. Like, you see there, I added like a little bit of a delay before I did the close heavy, and it's still jailed. Like, you really need to add a delay, especially if you're going for command grabs so you don't get screwed by throw protection. Another thing is maybe practicing like actually hit confirming if they do get hit, just because if you're looking only for that close heavy follow-up and you're delaying really hard for the frame trap, you might be focusing too much on them blocking and then frame trapping them and not notice that they got hit. And you have to delay the close H so much that if they choose to get hit and you do the delay, you might not actually combo into 5H. So I actually think that even though close H is the most rewarding thing if you can time it correctly, the best thing to do is probably just do 2L. Something like that. If they block the 2M, it's just -3 on block, and it's, you know, you're safe in space and they're burning on the carpet. If they press after the 5L, you know, you're plus, and if you're good enough at hit confirming, you know, you could hit confirm that. So the 2L will also catch them jumping, because a lot of the time if you put them on the carpet, assuming that they don't disrespect it and get fucked for it, they'll usually like wait and then try to like fuzzy jump after the +19, and if they're not holding down, then, you know, you hit them with 2L. So yeah, just kind of wanted to take a second to go over that, because even though it is like a really strong scenario for Percy, it is a little awkward just because you have to do some manual timing stuff and make sure that you're actually hit confirming the scenario. Alright, so the rest of this video is going to be me showing off Safejab setups, and Safejab setups are basically all command grab setups too, and a lot of Percival's routing can lead into Safejabs, so I wouldn't be surprised if the section is longer than the flame carpet stuff. And before I go any further, I do want to explain the difference between +5 and +6 Safejabs. If your jab ends in +6, I think on like at the end of the combo or on block, I think they're both the same number. You'll be safe to any reversal that's a non-U skill reversal. If you're +5, you'll be safe against any reversal that's 10 frames or slower. I have UL here as an example because she has a 9-frame DP. Her MDP is 9 frames, so it will beat the +5 setups but lose to the +6. So that leaves me at +5. That would lose to her MDP. I'll go ahead and show that real quick. So she can MDP that. However, she cannot MDP what I'm about to do. So this is +6. I didn't have her set to do MDP on wake up, only on hit, but you get the idea. If she had done MDP there, and I had pressed jab, the +6 will beat 9 frames. It only loses to use skill reversals. So just keep that in mind whenever I show some setups off. Some of them are +5, some of them are +6. If you're playing against a character that you know only has reversals slower than 9 frames, then you could do the +5 setups without worrying about them. If they do have a 9-frame reversal, you should stick to +6, etc. Alright, so I'm going to order these setups by stock count. So I'm going to start with Oki from 0 stocks and then go all the way up. So if you hit somebody in the corner and you have both your cooldowns, you should pretty much always route into this. There are like reasons to route into other stuff, but for the most part, you should almost always be doing this. This is what I showed off a minute ago. I start with, you know, what, 10 meter and no stocks. All I have is my cooldowns, and I end up with a meter refund 2-2U route that leads to +6. If I command grab that in this scenario, they'll take big boy damage, right? So the reasons why you would do other routes is basically just if you don't end up with the meter to 2-2U, or if you don't have like fireball cooldown or something. Like what you could do, granted this is not a +6 setup, but still like worth knowing. If you do that, this is a safe jump. It'll beat U skills. If you don't have your cooldown for Fireball available, that I would go for that. Otherwise, if you do have the cooldown for Fireball available and you have any semblance of meter, it's usually, in my opinion, best to just go into the 2-2U refund, 2L with roll +6, and then party game from there, right? So that already did, you know, like 80% of her life bar, and you start with like no resources, no stocks, like 10 meter, right? If you have additional meter, you could do an even more damaging route. So like, here, I'll just give myself an extra like 20 meter or something.
Marvelous.
Yeah, so you get the idea. I had to give myself even more meter, but still. You have plenty of ways to dump here, assuming you actually do hit them. So, you know, all you need besides, you know, that is one Zariasin, put them in the corner, you know, and then like the game could just instantly be over. The other thing worth noting about this too is that if you ever hit use Zariasin in the corner, you get an auto-timed safe jump, and if you do this close L here, this is actually an auto-timed frame trap or 5U. Yeah, for you know, that's an example of how, you know, you do the JL after the 214 and it auto times command grab there. A lot of people are honestly just gonna disrespect you the first time they see that. People see the user Ison and don't think it's a real safe jump, or they like mash afterwards. So I'd be more likely to frame trap a close H than do the command grab, but the command grab is still an option there. Yeah, so that's the auto time frame trap example. So just to summarize the zero stock routes, I think you should either be doing the 2-2U meter refund route that I showed. You should be doing the route that you spend a bravery point to get the 2-2U refund safe jump. Or you could do a couple other things. You could do this. This leaves you at +5. If you don't have the meter or don't want to spend the meter, you still build some resources doing this. You still get 3 stocks, you know. Or you could do this is really cheeky. It's not a safe jab at all because it's +4. You won't even beat like slower reversals, I think. But if people see this, they'll assume that you drop the combo because of combo limit, and then they'll press a lot of the time. So like they'll press throw, and you press, you know, like 5L, and yeah, you smoke them. The last route that I would recommend at 0 stocks that I could really even think of is basically just this. It's +6. I mean, it's about as basic as you could get. You know, auto combo, H Schneiden, auto combo. But I mean, you build 3 stocks and you're +6. So if you want to use guard delay, you could also do this. You could guard delay for that as well. I mean, at that point, it's pretty minuscule, but you could. So that pretty much summarizes all of these 0 stock routes that I would go for. Pretty much everything here leads to good Oki. Majority of them are +6 situations, or the one safe jump that I mentioned. So Yeah, even at 0 stocks, he has a lot of good stuff this patch, mainly because this launches. The fact that this used to not launch without stocks was fucking criminal. That was probably like his best change in the patch for like 20 different reasons, but one of them is definitely giving him real combos in the corner. Alright, so now we're on one stock routes. So, the route I'm going to show is personally the route that I first learned with him, especially back when you needed a stock to be able to get a combo back when H. Schneiden didn't launch. So it looks like this.
Excellent.
So this is +6. There's a ton of variations, like very small variations to this route. For starters, you could choose to keep an extra stock at the cost of being +5 instead of +6.
Excellent.
If you choose to do LDP instead of M or H, you sacrifice the frame advantage for keeping the stock that you would have burned on the DP. So that's a decision that you can make in your routing, but it does exist. So he can go into Flame Carpet off of 1 stock and minimal resources. I think for this you actually only really needed 10 meter. So yeah, he can go into Flame Carpet off of just 1 stock. You need 1 stock, 2 cooldowns, 10 meter off close L. So pretty good to know. If you want to build as many resources as possible without having to burn Fireball cooldown, you'd go for this. So this does require guard delay in order to get the close light to work at the end here. You'd be +7 after the 2-2M, so you have to hold guard during the 2-2M to get the close light to hit on the frame it's supposed to. This builds less meter than going for some of the other routes where you incorporate like Fireball and stuff like that, but because you're only using the command dash cooldown and you end up with 4 stocks at the end, it's debatable that this might be the best one to go for. It kind of just depends on what you want as a player. Because he can also get 4 stocks by doing this, but you're burning the cooldown on the H orb. So he has a lot of different things he can do off of H. Schneiden with 1 stock, whether it's the DP route, like this, where you juggle them like this. And heck, you could even choose to build more resources off this route. You're just sacrificing the Safejab. Like you could do something like this, where that's only +2, so you're not reversal safe, but you're still plus. Like you could still take your turn. You know, like if you press 5L, you'll beat throw here. So, lot of different options at 1 stock. If you have EX Fireball in the corner, you can also go for this. I forgot it while initially recording, so I'm having to add it in after the fact. This is another guard delay example, but this does work. So if you autopilot and go into EX Fireball, you can still get a Safejab nonetheless. Alright, on to 2 stock routes. Some of the routes at this point are going to look pretty familiar and kind of blend together. Mainly routes where like you do H. Schneiden, 2U, H. Fireball, except since the H. Fireball is actually powered up, you just go into like close heavy instead of close medium. So the first one would be same idea as before, where you're +7 after the 2-2M, so you hold the guard button. You get good chunk of meter, 4 stocks, Safejab. What's not to like? I'll also go over the Flame Carpet setup from before. I mean, we have 2 stocks. We're here, right? So
Excellent.
That I didn't input the flame carpet, but that's plus 22. So. Yeah. So this is personally what I route into the most. If I have 2 stocks, like this is, in my opinion, this is how I route into WinCon. The downside of doing the flame carpet stuff is that you don't hold on to meter. So if you're the kind of player that like, oh, whoops, no. If you're the kind of player that would look for like, you know, if you're looking to do this, you kind of can't if you're doing the flame carpet stuff over and over. But I've just accepted that. That's the route, right? You're probably not going to land that very often if you're looping flame carpet over and over. So if you want to find that, then you should probably be routing into more of like the safer stuff, like. Because if you command grab them there, you know, I mean, you're still gonna fucking explode them. So yeah. He also has some pretty interesting routes due to the M fireball change. So this having less startup means you can combo into it, which at first kind of seemed weird, like there wasn't really much to get from it. But there's 2 really good things you can get off of it. One of them is legitimately pretty good, the other's kind of a gimmick, but it's a good gimmick. So the reason why the M Fireball is good to route into like that is because it keeps your Fireball cooldown. So whenever I go for like this, so this is another +6 setup, but I have my Fireball cooldown. So if they get hit, I don't have to like waste a point on Brave counter or blah blah blah. Like I could just go and do it, right? And then the second use of the M Fireball, this is what I was referring to as kind of gimmicky. It is real oaky, but you could be getting more off of this on average. However, I want to ask you this: did you get hit?
Excellent.
So did you get hit? I dropped the combo afterwards, but like, come on, that's a genuinely good reset. And the thing is that it's an actual safe jab too. So like, if you decide to drop the combo and like do that reset, you're still reversal safe. It's definitely the best of 3 classic. You hit that on somebody you're trying to grime, but it's worth showing for sure. Like, it's something to think about. So I lied. There is actually one other thing you could do off the M Fireball. There's the 2-2U setup. There's the gimmicky reset, and then there's just a standard 4 stock variation. So. Well, I dropped the combo, but you get the point. So, you're +5, not +6, but you're still 4 stocks and have your Fireball cooldown to work with. So it's an option. And then similar to the 1 stock EX Fireball route, pretty much same thing with 2 stock, except you just do close heavy instead. So. I don't know why training mode has been giving me a weird bug where it says this is +1, even though I know for a fact it is not +1. It should be +6. As a reference, I'm +7 here, and then for some reason the game is telling me that I am +1, even though it should be a safe jab. Yeah, I'm almost positive this is a training mode bug. Like, I don't know how else to put it, but trust me, this is a safe jab. This would work. If you have the resources and you're willing to, resources being spending on a raging chain, you can also drag them to the corner and get a safe jab like this. So +6 with 2 stocks, and then +6 with 1 stock. The only difference being just that if you have 1 stock, you have to do close M, and if you have 2 stocks, you do close H. So for the last thing I'm going to show, it's really the only 3-stock combo route I care to show off. I'm sure there's something fancier, but this is not the end-all be-all of videos. And the 0 through 2 stock stuff should really carry you through most of your routing. Once you start to get higher stock counts, you're just looking to dump it into user Aizen anyways. So really, if you have 3, you can kind of just dump it, really, all your cooldowns. And then there you go, +6. So to end off the video, I'm just going to show off one final thing, which you don't need any stocks for. It's just if you so happen to hit somebody in the corner, and you spend bravery point, you could do that. If you don't have any cooldowns and you like autopilot into spending a point, you do get 4 and you get a safe jab. So, you know, you at least get to stock up on resources and go from there. So anyways, that's where I'm going to call it in this video. I've been recording this for a while today, and this isn't meant to be some extensive end-all be-all guide for Percival. Viram definitely, to my knowledge, plans on making something like that. He would know far more than I would. He probably has more routes, etc., etc. This is basically just a starter guide to get you into the game, doing safe jabs, doing flame carbon stuff. Anyways, that'll be it for me. Make sure to 5U as much as possible at Percival. Don't let the haters get to you. Forever rotisserie, never chicken.